What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Around the Web, where we take a look at strange and mysterious videos from all over the internet that'll definitely keep you up at night. And in today's episode,
what if 9,000-foot trees once covered the earth, but something cut them down?
Which one do you think should scare Americans today?
There is a venomous ant that is currently spreading across America right now.
After each reset, they establish reset rules to govern the post-reset world.
Also, can you guys do me a favor and try to get this video to like 10 or 20 likes? That's not asking for too much. Anyways, enough with the small talk. I hope you're ready to take a deep dive. This is Around the Web.
Oh shoot, the cops are here.
Not messing with the camera or nothing, are you?
We're doing a little a malware update.
Malware update?
Yeah. Nothing too extreme. You can come take a look if you want. You can trust me. Oh my god, the police was literally just here questioning me. This is getting serious. Where'd he go? Oh, he's coming around, act natural. Act cool, okay. Try not to make eye contact. Okay, and we're clear. I was sweating a little bit there. I don't know if he was gonna arrest me or what he was thinking. Sometimes I literally even surprise myself with how good of a hack I am. This is really not good. Holy flick. I only have 30 seconds until my malware uploads to the mainframe.
What the heck are you guys doing?
I was just doing a malware update to the flock camera.
Okay.
How did he get away with that?
What's the most disruptive thing that you could say in the most disruptive conversation that's ever been had?
Everything is perfect.
What does that mean?
It means that everything that's happening right now is actually a perfect manifestation of a maturation of a species. We don't actually have a polycrisis going on. We've got a hospice moment. And the joy that I had as a hospice doctor was so different than when I was running ICUs and battling against death and failing against death every day. You change your perspective for a moment as a doctor, and you suddenly are sitting by somebody's bed, and the victory is no longer staying alive longer. It's integrating everything that's happened. And I got to watch over and over again how humans at that last few minutes of life suddenly look back and realize their life was perfect. I think that's the exciting moment we're in, is we're going to move past this polarized state of human perspective where we keep flipping the victim-perpetrator code, and we use the savior mentality to keep that victim-perpetrator coin flipping, to keep a mirage going. And you suddenly put that coin down and somebody starts dipping across the veil of the limited five senses of their brain, and they start feeling an ecstatic moment where they realize, oh my god, the whole thing was poetically perfect. All of the heartbreak, all of the estrangement, all of the disappointment, all of the insecurity, I did that for the experience.
Let me know in the comments if you guys feel like I feel, because I'm sure that hit home for a lot of us.
Anybody explain to me, why is Kylie Jenner and Meta, out of all companies, collabing on a They Live poster? And for those that don't know what They Lived is, it's a 1988 film talking about an alien secret society that rules the planet. And you can only see them with the glasses on. And what I'm trying to comprehend and understand is, what are they trying to tell us? We're always watching. That's an interesting choice of words, since we got shit like the flock cameras popping up everywhere, and even cameras popping up inside of grocery stores, like mass surveillance. Let's not forget, in the movie They Live, one of the main messages was the subliminals that they put in the TVs and the billboards. The only people with the special glasses can see. Now, just remember, they have to tell us what's going on. It's a part of the universal law. They are subliminally putting it in our face to see how we gonna react, to see if we actually catching what they trying to tell us. But I'm curious though, what do y'all think that they was trying to tell us with this billboard?
For some reason, that does not surprise me one bit.
But this is exactly what we don't want to see. We don't want to see them taking this water for their data centers. We don't want to see them siphoning it off. If I get a certain amount of likes on this, I'm coming back with a chainsaw and I'm chopping the pipe, baby.
I don't think those lines belong to a data center. But what do I know? Anyways.
What if 9,000-foot trees once covered the Earth, but something cut them down and their remains are the mountains we see today? It sounds impossible, but according to one theory, some of the world's most unusual mountains aren't mountains at all. They're ancient tree stumps. Supporters point to places like Devil's Tower, with its massive column-like formations and strangely flat top. From above, they argue it looks almost like the stump of an enormous tree, and similar formations can be found around the world. But here's where the theory gets even stranger. We already know that wood can become petrified, slowly turning to stone while preserving its original structure. So what if this happened on a scale we've never imagined? Ancient cultures around the world also told stories of enormous world trees, stretching from the earth into the heavens. Trees like Yggdrasil in Norse mythology. What if these stories weren't entirely mythology? What if Earth once looked completely different, covered by trees thousands of feet tall? And if these mountains really are their petrified remains, it leaves us with an even bigger question. What happened to the giant trees? And what could possibly have been powerful enough to cut them all down?
This is one of my favorite examples of one of our massive ancient trees from our past. Shiprock Mountain in New Mexico. And what I really like about this one is you can still see the fallen top half of the tree, especially from this angle and on Google Earth. Here's an aerial shot of it. You can see that fallen top half of the tree going to the right. You can even see that root system.
How could you think that those formations are not trees after watching this? What's even crazier is, what do you think cut those things down? Like, if those are trees, some of them were flat, so how would that happen?
Let's just see what was spotted at a conference in Dubai with Mr. Beast, famous YouTuber. He calls out two individuals from the crowd that literally must be descendants of giants. Like, I'm talking, look at this.
It's the Burj Khalifa of humans. Before I answer that, can you two stand up real quick? Those guys might be the tallest guys I've ever seen in my life. And I've just been staring at them this whole time. How tall are you guys? Wait, here, can you actually just come up real quick? Can you stand beside my CEO, Jeff, real quick? Just for a comparison. I don't know these guys. This isn't planned. They walked in and it was... Are you an NBA player? Are you actually? Is this not crazy? I don't want to stand up because I'm going to look like short. What is it?
Okay, so listen. Those two guys were between 7 foot 11 inches and 8 foot 1, I think. So they would be like micro-sized on the giant scale throughout history. 6 foot is that, okay? We're talking, if you have looked at the ancient bones they found, which they've hidden, but there's still rumors and secrets that have emerged from, and you look at historical context of all ancient cultures talking about these freaking beings, those would have been like these small fry giants compared to what else we got.
Those guys looked a lot taller than 7 foot. And if those are the small giants, imagine the larger ones that are 36 feet tall.
Can't we eat babies? What's wrong with eating babies? If we've got extra babies around that nobody wants, why can't we eat?
We are the first species on the face of this earth to be aware of evolution, to be aware that we are affecting our own evolution by everything that we do. The babies we eat, the food we eat, the wars we fight. We are the first species to begin to understand not only are we aware of evolution, but we are evolution. We are evolution in person. And when you really think about it, our beings are a resume of the entire story of creation, from the original flaring forth, as Brian Swim called it. every atom, molecule, cell, reptilian brain, mammalian brain, human brain, and perhaps evolutionary brain, which I think is a form of brain that actually is picking up the entire pattern of creation as incarnate in you.
People always ask me how I stay so youthful. I tell them I eat well, get plenty of rest, and every third Sunday I drink the blood of a virgin. And these days, they're getting harder and harder to find.
She says it's a miracle fountain of youth and her magic wrinkle cure. So I'm going to put a little on your hand.
I'd do that. Oprah did.
Yeah, Oprah did it. All right, so here, we're going to rub it right in.
How come it's red?
I'll show you in a sec, Steve. So this is made from growth hormones of human
Look,
foreskin.
the wrinkles has just disappeared. I can't even ball my hand up.
But so it's made from human foreskin. I'm sorry, Steve.
You'd have sat up here and squirted somebody's private parts in my damn hair. What you laughing at?
I'm sorry.
This your last time on the show. This your last time. Not coming up in here and setting up in here. You tell Oprah this what's on her face?
She knows.
She knows.
She knows. There were a couple protesters about it because they are cells from baby foreskin.
Oh, baby foreskin.
That makes it better.
Yeah, that's different. I thought it was some grown ass man. Okay, does it work?
So yes, human foreskin has actually been used in growth factors. There's a lot of research on it. It's been shown to increase collagen production. It'll fill in all those lines and wrinkles. And Oprah looks great.
Man, I ain't gonna be able to look at Oprah no more.
Did anybody catch that? When she said it was foreskin, initially he was pissed, but when he found out that it was baby foreskin, he wasn't as mad. What's up with that?
Apple might be the most satanic company, and let me tell you why. The first Mac, you know, the iMac, do you know how much it sold for? $666. That's 666. That's what it cost. You think that's just a fun number? No. Steve Jobs was exact with numbers. He picked that on purpose. Now look at the logo, a bitten apple. That's not just some design choice, that's the Bible, the fall of man. The moment sin entered the world. That's the symbol they went with. And then there's Siri. Say it backwards. Iris. What's your iris? Your eye. And what's the biggest symbol used in secret groups like the Illuminati? The one eye. Over and over again. Same message. Now think, iPhone, that's not just internet phone, that's iPhone, EYE. The eye is watching, always. So, let's put it together. You've got the number 666, you've got the apple with a bite, you've got the eye, the one eye, the iris, the iPhone, all connected. People think it's just cool tech. No, it's something else. It's a symbol, it's a system, and it's everywhere. And you carry it in your pocket.
This is just a theory, not a fact.
I do, rituals, but that's not a negative thing.
They wrung the blood out, half filled 4 glasses with cobra blood. Drinking the cobra blood is called becoming brother to the snake.
It would be all the baby blood. I don't feel like I do look that young, but if I did, it would be all the baby blood.
We kind of signed our life away to each other, and legally, and with blood, that there's no possible way anybody can separate or walk away from.
I know there's going to be so many quick to defend them, like, oh, it's only a joke, it's said in jest. In what situation is that ever funny, to make jokes about things like these, when they have literally happened? But when you really peel the layers back, and you go down the rabbit hole, you'll realize that they literally have to tell you these things, because they believe if they don't tell you, then there's karmic retribution involved. But by telling you and passing it off just as comedy or whatnot, they believe they won't receive any karmic retribution for these actions.
Of every crime the CIA is admitted to in writing, which one do you think should scare Americans today?
A lot of the biowarfare stuff is pretty scary. Things like Operation Sea Spray, where they just
put a bunch of bacteria all over San Francisco just to see what would happen. They did the same thing in the New York subways just to see what would happen. Actually, the CIA officer who ran Sea Spray it was Frank Olson, ended up on a city sidewalk in New York. He fell from a 10-story window that was about that big. I don't know if you know his story, but yeah, it's working for the CIA. So Frank Olson was a scientist specialized in biowarfare. Aerosol sprays was his deal, and so he was part of Operation Sea Spray. So he transitioned from military to civilian. CIA. He's working for Sidney Gottlieb eventually, and part of the MK Ultra program. And he started to have kind of a crisis of consciousness. He just didn't want to do this anymore. So he checks in with Gottlieb and his supervisors, and they say, maybe you just need to break. You're stressed out. Come out to the cabin. The CIA had like this cabin out in the woods where they all women and do all kinds of crazy stuff. So they end up dosing Frank with LSD and some other stuff, and he starts to get really paranoid. He's calling his wife, like, they're watching me, they're following me. Everybody's freaking out. And he calls his handlers at the CIA, and they said, you come see a therapist. We have a psychiatrist who can help you, who's also an MK Ultra doctor. They go to New York. This is 1953. And they go up to a room on the 10th floor of a hotel, and Frank and the official narrative is he
said 1953 is when all that happened. Imagine what they've done since then and what they're doing now.
I actually met someone who worked at the CIA, and I asked him the question. I said, it wasn't me, it was a friend of mine asked it while we were there. He said, how many conspiracy theories are true? And the guy laughed, and he said, obviously I can't say anything to you, but he said, but I will tell you this. Oftentimes at the agency, we would be grateful. This was a really interesting phrase. He said, we would be grateful at how crazy conspiracy theorists were, because half the time they were correct, but half the time their conspiracies were so crazy that we never needed to step in and balance. And it was this interesting concept to me where I went like, whoa. Wait, so half the things you think are crazy, whoever you are in your world, half the things that you think are crazy are probably true. Yes. And then half the things that you think are true are probably crazy. The difficulty is we'll just never know.
He encounters with that, like a dolphin or a whale. Oh, okay. In terms of appearance, but they're upright, 2 arms, 2 legs, etc. One of a captain on a research naval vessel that was retrieving missiles that were nuclear test missiles going downrange down out of the Atlantic, who approached me. This was in '63. They triangulated ET craft that was surveilling this and hit it with some kind of weapon, and he was vectored in the next morning to get it. And there was an ejection pod, and it was about 6 feet square, and he was very specific. This is an old Navy captain guy who then became a captain on a contract vessel, civilian. And interestingly, he said, they were attractive little men, 4 of them. They were 39 inches tall, and their skin, his words, not mine, was the color of a Sicilian, bronze, and literal, I'm quoting, and but very attractive, handsome, but no hair, no pinna, very fine features. Interestingly, having dealt with many men who have been on direct crash retrieval operations, including ones very recently, none of them have ever described a hostile one. None of them have ever described the reptile ones that everyone's so enthralled of hating. No one has ever described. So in other words, the mythology that is the stuff of the UFO subculture.
We haven't seen any proof of anything from him. I'm not saying he's making everything up, but when are we going to get some proof, Stephen Greer? When are we going to get some proof?
At your local Fred Meyer's, get your 3D printed meat. Go to the side. Look at the layers.
Dude, look at how stiff it is. It's like
3D printed meat.
There is a venomous ant that is currently spreading across America right now, and a single sting from it can cause you to go into full anaphylactic shock. So this is actually called the Asian needle ant, and it came over from Asia a very long time ago, but now it's officially spread to at least 22 different states in America. As of right now, it's mostly spread across the southeast and up the east coast, and experts are currently saying that it's showing up in way more backyards than it's supposed to be. And they're also saying that this ant is actually way more likely to put you into full anaphylaxis than a fire ant, which is a life-threatening allergic reaction from one single sting. Doctors have already been reporting multiple different cases of it, and people who got stung say the pain keeps coming back in waves for the entire rest of the day. The reason why people keep on getting so caught off guard is because of where the ants live, because they don't build big mounds like fire ants do, they just hide under mulch, logs, rocks, and piles of leaves in your backyard. So obviously people aren't seeing them coming. And on top of the sting, they're saying that it's also wiping out native ants all across the southeast. Can we go outside at all this year?
You worried about the Chinese catching up and getting ahead?
Given that the Chinese AI companies are doing as well as they are with a relatively small amount of compute, it seems as that if they had a lot of compute, there's a good chance that they would be the leaders. And at some point, they probably will have a lot of compute.
Ergo, they will be the leaders.
There's a good chance that they are the leaders at some point. You can think of like the constraints on AI are essentially electricity and AI chips. And then for physical AI, the robots. China's also got some very good robot companies. China's very strong on robots, very strong on digital AI. And if you look at electricity production, you can say like AI is a function of whatever the limiting factor is, if it's chips or electricity. China has far more electricity than the United States. In fact, China has more electricity than the United States, Europe, and India combined already, and is heading to, and my guess is China gets to 4 times the electricity production of the US.
Watch out, America. China is coming in hot.
I didn't know that the VPN is basically a digital honey trap.
Yeah, a lot of the VPN companies that podcasters are representing are owned by China, or they're owned by Israel, or they're owned by Russia.
They're fake.
Yeah, you can look it up. Don't take my word for it.
I dropped a VPN sponsor over this exact question.
Me too.
To tell you that in many of these old pictures, the sky has been completely whitewashed, so you would never know what is going on. And you didn't believe me. But when I say I got your ass, oh, I've got your ass. So, did you know that in the 1800s, right up into the 20th century, our skies was completely littered with airships? Oh, you son of a bitch. But what they don't want you to know is that these was not no normal airships. They was powered by natural free atmospheric energy. Oh my days. These tall buildings used to work as a charging port for these airships. These buildings wasn't just for show. They was docking stations that picked up passengers and took them all around the world. You have to understand, this is not their technology. This is Tartarian tech. It wasn't just buildings that could charge up these airships. They could also charge them at sea. Even the US Navy got involved with this Tartarian tech. So the mainstream narrative says the first successful airship was constructed by Henry Garfield of France in 1852. But we know, anytime they mention the 1800s, they're lying, because that's when they did the last reset. And they claim that in 1937 there was a disaster in Hindenburg, New Jersey, and because of that, they never used the airships again. And if that's what really happened, why remove it from history? Why don't you teach it to the kids in school? And why would you whitewash the sky?
I agree. Why haven't I heard about all these airships? Most I know about is a blimp. And that first airship was made in the 1800s? They knew something.
After each reset, they established reset rules to govern the post-reset world. After the resets and reset wars of the 17 and 1800s, the remaining rebels were rounded up in the Kirkbride Plan and thrown into asylums. America had become completely captured, and these amazing structures from the previous civilization had been used as a foundation to establish reset rules. They established the first passport-style IDs for attendees and for the employees, and people were given diplomas for attending the exposition. Their indoctrination was being certified. The entry passes were printed by the same people that print the money. ABC Corp. They produce the money, the stamps, and the stock certificates. This company primed the population for fiat currency after the 1775 to 1815 reset period. Look, these events literally trained the population to be racist. They even had human zoos to reinforce social Darwinism. And they promoted Darwinism in their flyers. Why would you need to normalize harmful stereotypes if you were the builders of civilization and you controlled slaves for hundreds of years? Wouldn't you already hold those views? Why would you need cakewalks and things like this to feel better if you've already seen it for hundreds of years? These fairs were a mechanism to train fiat people with fiat money and give them pseudo status. These cities were empty after the resets and they were being repopulated with these orphan train babies and incubator babies. Look, see? These events were also used to misidentify people and hide the identity of the real American Aboriginals. They held massive events to portray Native Americans as savages, and they used fake Native Americans to do it. They butchered and publicly ate 700 dogs at the fair in Buffalo. The fake natives were trained to play a role in society for certain benefits, reservations, casinos. These schools are just like orphan asylums, programming centers. And the real Aboriginals that got rounded up were trained to take on the slave mentality in their asylums. And the president was assassinated at the Buffalo World's Fair. Then Theodore Roosevelt took over. Him and J.P. Morgan teamed up with Edward Curtis. Edward Curtis staged all the Native American photos that we've been indoctrinated with. You know, these type of photos? They completely manufacture Native American history. Because if everybody is an immigrant and the people that were supposedly there first were just savages, you deserve to rule the land. And the human zoos were used to treat all dark people as a monolith of savages. But these are pre-colonial permanent fireproof buildings. First-hand account of how they're permanent buildings, and many of these buildings still stand today. Fairs from east to west coast, massive permanent structures, like the Eiffel Tower, and why would they need to build temporary buildings like this if they already have old world buildings in Paris? And these are cropped vanilla sky construction photos. Just like this cropped vanilla sky photo, they literally edit the sky out. This is a display of ethereal technology. All these events are used to unveil technology. This was ubiquitous technology. Tesla supposedly learned about remote electricity at the Paris World's Fair. Shortly after, at the Buffalo event, Tesla's technology was used to light up the fair. And it's funny, there's no footage or audio of Tesla. And in modern times, the World's Fairs are being used to unveil the future norms of civilization. But wait, they had video calling in the 1930s in Germany? Yup, look. Somebody wasn't following the planned obsolescence protocol. We live in a socially engineered world with artificially intelligent people.
That was deep, like deep, deep. He was dropping gems, so feel free to rewind that and take some notes.
It still has both sides. Look at that one too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god. Unreal. This guy's coming home.
Hey. We all know that there was a great flood, but just seeing the actual scope of it, realizing that there are actually seashells on top of mountains, it's mind-boggling. At any point, anybody can be miles under the water. So all you doomsday preppers out there, you better have an extra oxygen tank and an extra wetsuit, just in case. Alright YouTube, that was the episode. I hope you enjoyed. We made it this far, so definitely give the video a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and I hope to see you on the next one. And like always, stay curious and question everything. This is Around the Web. Peace.